As I suspected, everybody, it is rainbows to the rescue. Nancy and her friends are going to follow the rainbow signs to the lost mine. Alright, so they urge their horses up the mountain, fanning out behind the old cactus, to look for the next rainbow. They eventually spot it etched into a large boulder jutting from the hillside above them. Reaching it, they spot the next mark, and from it, they spot the next. In this manner, they slowly make their way up the mountains. She'll be going around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Alright, so when they're about halfway up, Nancy stops her horse suddenly. What is that? Following her gaze, Bess and George see a crude enclosure made of scrap wood and pieces of rusted sheet metal in the gulch below them. Surrounding it are all kinds of very old appliances. What's a junkyard doing all the way out here? Bess wonders aloud. And what's that awful smell? Suddenly they hear, That's no junkyard! That's my mother-in-law! Ba-dum-tsh! Startled, the girls spin around on their horses to see a man with long dark hair and a full beard standing behind them. That's my home. Oh, I'm sorry, Beth stammers. I didn't mean it as an insult. Really, But to her surprise, the man's deeply tanned face cracks up into a wide grin. He walks towards Bess with his hand outstretched. That's all right. Name's Lloyd Feldman. She shakes his hand uncertainly. Hello, Lloyd. I'm Bess, and that's George, and that's Nancy. Lloyd greets each of them with an energetic handshake. Despite his unkempt appearance, he doesn't look to be much older than 40. So, you live out here? Nancy asks. Yes, ma'am, have for 17 years, give or take, easy to lose track. He glances towards the shack, then back at the girls. Tell you what, me and Simon here were just coming in for some brunch. Looking down, the girls notice a large pig-like animal nuzzling his foot. P.U., Bess whispers to her friends. It smells like Miller Cave. Is that a javelina? Nancy asks. Sure is, Lloyd beams. I raised him since he was a baby. His mama got hit by a car. Do they usually live in caves? Not to my knowledge, Lloyd replies. They misspelled Lloyd there. Lloyd replies, giving his friend a quick belly rub. So how about joining me for brunch? The pig snorts with seeming indignation. Smiling, Lloyd pats the animal's head. I mean, how about joining us? Bess and George look at each other, then they turn to Nancy, ready to follow her lead. It doesn't really make much of a difference if you go to brunch or not. I mean, if you go to brunch, Lloyd is going to make you do a mushroom hidden object screen. But you don't really get a reward for this hidden object screen. You really won't miss anything if you don't go to brunch. So if you don't like brunch or eating mushrooms, wow, that was a really easy hidden object screen. If you don't like that, don't go to brunch. Either way, the game skips to when Nancy and her friends are going to leave. As the girls saddle up their horses, Lloyd asks where they are heading. Nancy hesitates. A knowing look appears on Lloyd's face. You're going to look for that lost mine, aren't you? The girls exchange a look. He shakes his head and with a sigh starts walking towards the shack. Suit yourself. Bess calls after him guiltily. Maybe we'll stop in when we come back. You won't be coming back, he calls over his shoulder as he closes the door behind him. What did he mean by that? Bess asks worriedly. Nothing. The guy's got eccentric written all over him, George answers. Do you think he's the one who was up in Miller Cave? Bess looks at Nancy. Nancy shrugs her shoulder. I doubt it. I doubt it, but now we know what that awful smell in the cave was. A javelina. Probably the same one that spooked the horses coming back from the cookout. For more information about this, reread Chapter 1 of Nancy Drew Mobile Mysteries Shadow Ranch. The girls turn their horses up the mountain and resume their search for the next rainbow. After about a half hour later, there's this stream which is trickling out of a large cluster of rocks. This will be a good place to have lunch, Nancy decides. I second the motion, Bess says, groaning with relief as she slides down from her horse. The girls loosen their cinches. The cinches, that's how you pronounce that, right? I'm not a horseback rider at all. The girls loosen the cinches on their saddles. Then they let their mounts take long drinks from the stream before tying them securely to a shaded creosote tree. Look at this, Bess exclaims, happily, as she digs into her saddlebag. Sandwiches, trail mix, chocolate bars, beef jerky, dried fruit, even marshmallows! That Mrs. Thurman sure knows how to pack camping supplies. Don't go eating everything at once, George reminds her. They may have to last us a couple of days. When Nancy finishes her sandwich, she stands up stiffly. I'm going to stretch my legs. Leaving her friends behind, Nancy explores the area. A small horned lizard, which is a collectible, scurries across her path as she wanders the hillside. She rounds a corner and stops short. Her eyes widen as she stares at something in front of her. You guys, she calls over her shoulder, come look at this. Within seconds, Bess and George have joined her and the three stare together. It is the entrance to a mine. Is that the mine? Bess whispers. Looking around, Nancy spots something and points. I don't think so. This is the mine.
Hello?
And we have a pine tree nearby. The pine tree is a collectible. And on the pine tree's trunk is the rainbow. Crazy Cow's trail keeps going. This must have been someone else's mine. I see something twinkling in there, Bess says as she peers into the shaft. It could be gold. Wouldn't hurt to collect some, Nancy shrugs, but it's probably just fool's gold. Alright, so look for fool's gold in order to get a collectible. Alrighty, fool's gold, fool's gold, fool's gold. Alright, it's pretty easy to tell the difference between fool's gold and real gold. Fool's gold comes in ounces, real gold comes in quarts. That's an old geology joke for you. Wait, we don't get a... Oh, wait, yes we do. Yes, we do get a quartz collectible. Alright. So, looking for fool's gold gives you this collectible. I guess it really does come in quartz after all. Well, we picked that puppy clean, George observes. Time to hit the trail again, Bess adds eagerly. Wait a second, Nancy calls out. I think I see something else. Nancy quickly ducks back into the dusty, spiderweb-covered mine. Among the dull rocks, a small gold pocket watch gleams in a stray beam of sunlight. And if you didn't look for gold, Nancy would automatically find this thing anyway, the pocket watch. Nancy snatches the watch and rushes back to show Bess and George what she's found. The small gold watch is deeply scratched and dented. A large gash in the gold casing exposes the watch gears. Looks like it might be beyond repair, George says, poking at the backing. Hey, I think I see something in here. Give it a shake, Nancy. Nancy shakes the watch until a curled yellow piece of paper falls to the ground. Bess snatches up the paper and carefully unfolds it. Dear Francis, green bottle, Bess reads. That's either a coded message or the worst fortune cookie in the world. Green bottle, Nancy says. That must mean something. Yeah, Bess says, but what? Nancy gives the watch a shake, and a small piece of quartz tumbles out of the watch into her outstretched hand. Alright, so we found an old watch belonging to Dirk Valentine. Interesting, and it will definitely help us solve the mystery. Whoa, hold on a second. Oh, I am hearing rain and thunder. I think I'm going to have to end the video now and just get an umbrella. I'll get the umbrella and come back for the next video. Hopefully the umbrella will help me keep out of this rain.